In 2023, I went on the large podcast Justpearlythings twice. This video shall be showcasing my second appearance on her show, with short clips of me reacting to myself on her show. Click the link in the cards or description below to check out my first appearance. On my second appearance, she kicked me off after I challenged her continuously on her comments. My name is Zarina Matcha, and you're watching The Rational Female. If you enjoy my content, give the video a like and subscribe to my channel. Now, on to Pearl's show.
Hi there, my name is Zarina Matcha. I am an author and anti-feminist from London, and I have a YouTube channel called The Rational Female where I discuss anti-feminism from a very modern, non-traditionalist perspective, just a modern woman's perspective. And I consider myself a women's advocate and an egalitarian and believer in equal rights for men and women. Thank you.
That's a bit of a mouthful.
Oh.
It was.
Welcome to the show, everybody. So today's topic, has modern dating gotten harder or easier?
I think that a relationship is fundamentally a difficult thing because everybody is quite complicated, and because of the complexity of humans, I think that just the idea of having a relationship, we actually underestimate how difficult it is to find a complementary partner. Because, for example, if we think of the fact that we're all different, I think it's very easy for us to say, like, whether or not, I don't even know if it's necessarily that dating is easier or harder today, or just the fact that finding a partner who matches you, who wants the same things in life as you, who wants to share the same things in life as you, is a difficult thing. I mean, I know there's one lady who's married. I'm sure she could comment on that. But I think that just the idea of, two people meeting, and I think that you definitely need to have a level of contentment within yourself and being very positive within yourself and feeling that sense of, strong sense of self in order to find a partner who can match you.
What do you mean by it's hard to find someone that matches you? Do you want someone that's exactly the same as you?
So when I say match, I don't mean as in the same. I mean matches in the sense of like you complement each other. Because I believe that, fundamentally speaking, when it comes to a relationship, a man and a woman are supposed to complement each other. And I know that, especially discussing this with previous boyfriends, the most important thing is that you both have those things like shared values, shared interests. You both sort of bring out the best in each other.
Do you think you need shared interests? I don't think you need to have anything in common.
Why?
Yeah, usually when couples have too much in common, it's like they almost compete with each other. Yeah. I find that like couples that are more different seem to work better.
Well, you definitely do need to have shared interests because otherwise, what else are you gonna have, to share?
Men don't really like to talk, so they'd probably be happy to not talk.
They just like to
I don't know how it's necessary. I don't know how it's possible to have a stable relationship without talking.
You'd be
I'd
surprised.
say that definitely,
just having cock in your mouth.
Especially people who've been married for like 40, 50 years, the idea of both of you having shared interests, having things.
Well, ask the husband if he'd like his wife to talk less.
I know regarding my parents, for example, the fact that they both had, a lot of shared interests, that's really something which helped to make the relationship last.
I think most people would agree that for a successful relationship to work, the couple need to be compatible and have the same values. This can be in the form of having the same worldview, but also having a similar lifestyle. So whether you prefer going out or staying in, do you want children? Do you want to live in the countryside or the city? Do you want to see each other every day or once a week? Do you want pets? Will one person do all the cooking or will both of you cook? Will you wear shoes inside the house or leave them off, etc.? These things are what's helped figure out long-term compatibility. I would say now that modern dating is harder for many reasons, one of which largely being feminism, because of the loss of gender roles and women no longer appreciating men. Relationships were more stable when men and women behaved in a certain way and worked together as a team.
But I think that's more of a female thing. Just my point of view. I really think it's more of a female thing than a guy thing. So you think men are stupid?
No,
I don't think they're stupid.
You just said men don't like to talk. So.
No, I said they don't like to talk to us because we just talk in circles and like yap a bit more, where men are a lot more direct.
We do. I think
women are stupid.
Women are stupid.
Man would want to marry a stupid woman.
I actually do think that women as a whole aren't the smartest.
I mean, it can appear that way when you have
I'm such a dumb little
YouTubers
slag.
like to make women look really idiotic, and I think
we are idiotic.
Well, when you have, on YouTube, very populist YouTubers who like to use their platforms to make women look stupid.
No one makes anyone look dumb. Trust me. You can't.
It's very easy to make people look dumb.
No, it's either they're dumb or they're not dumb. I've had tons
intelligent men want intelligent women.
I've had tons of smart gals come on here and not look dumb. If you're dumb, you look dumb.
Dunning-Kruger effect, anyone?
But I just think as a group, if we look in the last 100 years, what we've chosen, it hasn't been the smartest. Like, okay, no offense, guys, but it's like 1 out of 25 of us under 35.
Well, there are more women going to university now.
Wait. 1 out of 25 of us are under 35 are on OnlyFans.
If 1 out of 25 women under 35 are on OnlyFans, that would account for 4% of women, which is already not very many. It also doesn't account for inactive OnlyFans accounts and women who do non-sexual things on OnlyFans. As it turns out, the actual figure is much lower. The BBC actually did a short documentary exploring this. In the US, an estimated 1.4 million to 2.2 million women are on OnlyFans. This equates to roughly 0.7% to 1.3% of all US women. In that age range that Pearl states alone, it would likely be a tiny percentage of women who are actually active on OnlyFans. If we go globally, there are 4.63 million creators on OnlyFans. There are roughly 4 billion women in the world. That is roughly 0.116%, and that's globally. Even if millions of women have accounts, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are active creators, producing adult content, or earning meaningful money. As usual, Pearl is spreading false information.
And university, I think university makes us dumber.
Well, maybe that's what you think, but not everyone would agree with you. I'm sure a lot of academics and professors.
All I did at uni was
all a man wants you to do is shut your mouth and put his cock in it.
Yeah. And you gotta respect the girls on OnlyFans. They make money. Like, you've got to respect the hustle because they're making an effort. Like, you know, it's business effectively.
Oh no, I agree. I actually don't think that going on OnlyFans is necessarily a bad thing. I think that it depends on people's life circumstances. Well, no, I was going to say life circumstances because, for example, people who are very poor. Like, I wouldn't really look down on a woman for doing OnlyFans. I'd want to look at the context.
LonelyFans?
Yeah,
Yes,
LonelyFans. Do you think they
depends on
are?
the context.
Do you think they're poor?
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about you.
No, but you just said, like, more people from their background are likely to be poor if they do OnlyFans.
Well, I definitely think that, you know, there's definitely something to be said for, say, women of more impoverished backgrounds choosing to say
what do you think? What do you think?
When I was on the show, I knew basically nothing about OnlyFans, and I still know very little about it. I'm aware of it, but I'm not that familiar with it. I don't think that selling sex in general is an ideal choice of profession for any woman, but the point I was trying to make is that there are circumstances that might drive a woman to do OnlyFans because she doesn't have any other way to make money. The same goes for prostitution, and I guess OnlyFans is like a form of prostitution. I'm also aware, as mentioned, that people can sell non-sexual things on OnlyFans too, although it's largely known as a site where women sell sex for money. I think that OnlyFans and prostitution is a personal decision that I don't think the government should be involved in. I don't think it's a positive path for anyone to go down, and I would imagine that most people would agree. But then, some women would rather do OnlyFans than go out and flip burgers or clean toilets. And I don't think the government should be able to stop them from doing that. Prostitution is the world's oldest profession, whether we like it or not. There have always been women like this in societies. Attitudes towards them depended on the time period, setting, culture, class, religion, etc. High-class escorts are generally respected more than street prostitutes. I think that having prostitution only happening within licensed brothels would actually make it safer, which is one argument one may make in favor of decriminalizing prostitution.
What do you think smarter? What do you think smarter? Doing OnlyFans or not doing OnlyFans?
Doing OnlyFans.
Okay, I know what you guys are going to say. I'm asking her.
I mean, it really depends on the context because you could say
just answer the question, yes or no.
I'm answering the question, darling. You could say that choosing to do OnlyFans is actually a very smart choice if you're, say, a woman who's very attractive and doesn't feel like she has any other options. You could actually say that.
Okay, can an attractive woman marry rich?
Yeah.
I think anyone can marry.
An ugly girl can still do OnlyFans anyway.
Okay, so is it better to depend on one man who loves you? Or a bunch of simps that are paying you $5.99 I know what you guys
think. Depends on yourself. Earn your own money.
I'm asking in general. I know every person's different, but if we have to pick one, what's a better choice?
I mean, again, it depends on the woman.
No. I need one. I need you to.
It's not really a yes or no question because it does depend on the circumstance.
Okay,
let's let this lady answer.
No,
don't you think a relationship should be about two people putting in effort together?
100%. But it's two different types of efforts.
Yes,
women are way more emotional, and I'm not here to provide for my man and take him on dates.
That's gay.
and he's going to take me on the dates. It's just how it works. I feel like men and women are different.
Because we all could have,
we don't.
we all could have like at 22 just like married rich, you know?
Don't you think that's a bit superficial?
And yet,
Very.
So marrying rich is actually not necessarily superficial. I was kind of just saying that in the moment. It's actually hypergamy, and it's how women used to operate and still do in many cases. However, marrying rich only works if you're a woman who has access to a dating pool that contains rich men, which the average woman does not. The average woman doesn't know where to meet a rich man, let alone how to make one her husband. It also depends on what you mean by rich. A lot of the guys that I have been out with were, I would say, middle class. They had decent white-collar jobs. I wouldn't know where to meet a guy who owns a massive house and drives a sports car. I don't personally know any women who have been with such men or are married to lavishly wealthy men. Most men do not make that kind of money. Also, wealthy men usually have a rotation of attractive women, and they don't commit to just one woman unless they suddenly want to have children with one woman and be monogamous.
Why would you not just want to be rich yourself?
Exactly.
Take care of yourself and do it for
well, then
yourself.
where's the female Elon Musk? We can't figure it out. Like, go do.
J.K.
You know what's
Rowling?
funny? The top OnlyFans models tend to work for men.
I mean, J.K. Rowling, Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, there are tons of wealthy, self-made women out there. Supermodels, actresses, entrepreneurs, etc. Alice Walton is the richest woman in the world. She is the heiress to Walmart. She has worked in finance as an equity analyst, money manager, and broker. Now, it's true that many wealthy women actually have been daughters of wealthy men or married to rich men. But that's because men and women are different. Most women would rather marry a millionaire than do the work required to become a millionaire. I don't see the problem with that. It's not really anybody's business what people choose to do. Again, this is hypergamy. And as mentioned, there are plenty of aforementioned self-made wealthy women.
Can I ask
Well,
you
it's
girls,
women's fault for picking shit husbands, then, isn't it?
can I ask you girls a question?
Why
What
picking
made
shit
you?
husbands?
What made you ladies decide to want to do OnlyFans?
The money.
Honestly, no, I've always been like really sexual, like hypersexual, and like
Yeah. I don't think that's a
like
good or bad
addicted to
thing.
sex.
Some women just have higher sex drives.
Yeah, and then I was doing it for free anyway. You know, I was spreading my legs for free. I may as well make some money on the side. But
Most people do just
No,
stop
it's
talking to
mostly
their
it's mostly
partner.
just women that do that. It's
Yeah,
not really
exactly.
men. It's just the women.
Yeah, women get
Which goes
so
back to-
bored.
which-
and
What about
everything.
men who cheat and abuse on their partners? I mean, let's not just blame everything on women now.
It's like mostly
Should be-
women, though.
no, it's not.
It's like mostly like
statistically,
70,
men are more likely to cheat than
70
women.
to 80% of the time. They make up the
Statistically-
stats anyway.
What,
I
like you?
really think that I don't make up stats, lady.
Well, you said something about was it one in three women have an abortion? That's not true.
basically, what stat on abortion?
Well, you said that 1 in 3 women have had an abortion. That's not actually true. It was
Yeah.
predicted that 1 in 3 women had.
That's
would
what
have
that's
an
what Planned Parenthood says
Yeah, it
themselves.
Well, I
is.
actually had a check on that stat, and actually it didn't say that. It actually said the rates of abortion have actually decreased in the USA.
Okay.
So after my first appearance on Pearl's show in 2023, I had to look at the claim that 1 in 3 women have had an abortion, which she often cites. I found this article saying that the 1 in 3 women have had an abortion claim was a prediction done by the Guttmacher Institute. It estimated that in the US, if the 2008 abortion rate prevailed, 30% of women would have an abortion by the age of 45. The Institute actually found that the abortion rate between 2008 and 2011 dropped by 13% for women aged 15 to 44. A more recent update on this found that 1 in 4 women by age 45 will have an abortion based on the 2020 abortion rate. Abortion in the US has actually been declining since the 1980s. Guttmacher estimates that the number of abortions in the US in 2020 was 40% lower than in 1991. There are many theories as to why this is the case. Personally, I would put a lot of it down to better access to contraception. That's just my personal view.
And I think you can really, with the cheating stat, you know, it's pretty similar, to be honest. I think it's like slightly less, but
Well, I had a
I
look
think
at
you
one
can
study that said that-
I think you can more likely find out just by asking people and coming to conclusions, because like you can honestly get a stat to say anything, right?
Yeah, there was one study by the
so-
Institute for
so-
Family Studies that found that 20% of married men had an affair.
are you gonna let me talk?
Are you gonna
If you're gonna no, it's not your show, chick. Like, so wait your turn. I really think that at the end of the day, like,
The General Social Survey found that in the US, 20% of married men admitted to cheating compared with 13% of married women. Interestingly, women aged 18 to 29 were found more likely to cheat than men of the same age. Older people are actually more likely to cheat than younger people. We often associate cheating with men, but women do cheat too. I would argue that while men are more likely to cheat due to having higher sex drives than women, the reasons why women were less likely to cheat in the past is because there was no birth control. That's why. There were simply more consequences when it came to sex for women. Birth control removed a lot of bargaining power that women had when it came to sex, for better or for worse. This has contributed to many young women now having many sexual partners. It's generally understood that men and women typically cheat for different reasons. Men usually cheat because of physical urges and opportunistic situations that allow them to cheat. Women usually cheat because of a lack of emotional intimacy.
We can come to conclusions based on what we see in real life, because you can find one study that says one thing and one study that says another.
That doesn't make
And I
sense,
think,
Paul, because you often bring up studies.
Are you going to let me finish or no? Because if you keep interrupting me, you can go.
The kick out.
I told you,
Paul.
you can challenge me, but I've told you to stop interrupting me. And you did this last show too. I have no problem going back and forth with you, but if you're going to talk over me every single time, you have to go.
I'm not talking over you.
Okay, Are you gonna? If you're gonna be combative, you can go.
Well, it's a discussion.
I have no problem having a discussion with you, but we did this last show too. Okay.
I think it's important to not necessarily say things that are just deliberately designed to make women look bad on purpose.
Well, it's not that I'm trying to make women look bad, but I think when you look at, from a historical point of view, like the last 100 years, what do we have that men value? And I'm just genuinely being honest. Like 100 years ago, 85% of women were virgins. And we could go back and forth on the stats and you could say, okay, it's not 1 out of 3, it's 1 out of 5. That's still bad. That's still not good, right? And so I think I'm not, and that's the point.
Don't matter if she's a virgin, she can still speak on it.
But this is my point is you're gonna go personal, right?
No.
And I think like the point is I could say it would have been a better outcome for me had I waited. I think it would have been a better outcome for most women had they waited.
Pearl has a very strange obsession with body count and virginity. There's actually a legitimate reason why female virginity was historically significant, which I have made another video on and written a Substack article on. However, in the present day, this discussion is not very helpful. For some reason, there's become this online obsession in anti-feminist and red pill spaces with female body count. Oddly enough, I rarely hear actual feminists talk so much about female promiscuity. They usually talk about the wage gap, domestic violence, sexual violence, and an overrepresentation of men in positions of power. It just seems to be anti-feminists who are obsessed with female body count, and I don't think the discussion is being handled very well. There's no addressing the breakdown of courtship between the sexes and treating relationships like they are transactional.
So let me find out.
Did you say that if women left the world, then the world would?
No. I said the
world would not still run.
No. The society would still run.
It'd work better.
Why in this society? This is the first time we've ever had women like working in large numbers.
Men
So
have created everything.
why for all of history we
Women
haven't
have always worked throughout human history.
They've always
Who even
worked.
cares anyway?
They've always
Like-
worked. They have not been the majority.
Women historically have always worked, particularly working class women. Nursing, textiles, and education have always been female-oriented professions. Farming was the general way of life for millions, and women would work alongside their husbands on the farms. Millions of women worked during World War I and World War II. It's very true that since second-wave feminism, there's been a rise of women in the modern workforce when these women otherwise would probably have been stay-at-home mothers. Part of this is because of inventions in the 20th century, such as birth control and kitchen appliances, which freed up time for more women to go out to work. And then part of this is the feminist push for women to prioritize having a career over having a family. That is true. But there have always been women who wanted a career, and most of those women did not call themselves feminists. They were talented individuals driven by a genuine interest in their field. I'm talking about people like Marie Curie, Alice Ball, Florence Nightingale, and so on. They had a genuine calling. Most people do not do work that they find emotionally fulfilling. They work just to pay the bills. Most women are not authors, physicists, or actresses. Most Western women work in what David Graeber would call BS jobs. I'm not sure why being a HR consultant is more fulfilling than having a family. And these are the jobs that many modern middle-class women are working in.
No, during the First and Second World War.
I think we're not going to be able to do the oil rigs. We're not going to be able to build the building.
I could definitely get oil rigs. That's what you mean.
If women could do it, we would.
Do you know what? If a man
they
could
choose not
No,
to.
we
I think
have-
they choose not to.
No, we have.
We've just been saying to you that we have.
Just because we did some factory jobs in the early
It's
1900s,
very difficult to work in
we
a
did not
factory.
build the buildings.
Yes,
we did
they
not
do.
work on the oil rigs.
You don't know that.
they're not.
Women do work on oil rigs.
No,
Women
they're
do
not.
build.
I had Paul Elam on my channel recently, and he said that women always brought material value to relationships. Most women historically were not stay-at-home housewives because most couldn't afford to be. And also, running a house and raising children is a full-time job. It's still a form of labor. I know it's not paid work, but women have always done some form of work. Cooking, cleaning, raising children, this is all physically demanding. It became less physically demanding through the rise of modern inventions that made at-home labor much easier.
Yes, they do, because not all women sell their vaginas or pussy.
Okay, what percent of women are virgins? What percent?
Paul, you don't care about
what
statistics.
percent-
Studies
what
don't
percent-
matter.
What percent of women
It doesn't
are virgins?
matter, because what percentage of men are virgins?
What percentage of women?
But what
Women,
percentage of men
the
are
female
virgins?
virginity is what matters.
But is it?
It does not
female
matter
virginity-
to
It's
everybody.
It's exactly the same.
But you're not a
the
virgin.
female virginity is what matters. We know.
It's the women who normally looks after the child, because historically that's always what's been the case, because traditionally the woman has been the one who stays at home, cooks,
Right,
cleans, looks after the child.
but why are we punishing the men for doing what they're supposed to do? Like,
Why-
you
why
want
they
you guy wait. You want a guy that protects and provides, right? That's what we traditionally want. But when a guy does it, he loses his kids.
No one said that's what we should.
Nah,
want
you should
nowadays in
punish them because
2023.
like men and women are different. Men go and build houses, women look after the
Right,
kids.
but
so
Women build
punish them.
houses, men can look after kids. There are stay-at-home dads who do exactly the same job as women, where the women are out there earning the bread. Like,
No,
earning the-
that's a minority of
It is a minority, but it does
relations.
happen.
Yeah,
So you need to
But
accept that does happen.
We know. Like, duh.
Acknowledge it.
No, but it's like we don't have to. We just said let's not acknowledge every exception. We know there are exceptions, and the first thing you say, here's the exception. We know.
It is an exception, and statistically, marriages where the wife earns more than the husband tend to fail more often than the other way around. As mentioned earlier, running a house and taking care of children is still a job, and it's an important job. I don't see why this is a form of oppression. Why is being a homemaker more oppressive than spending 10 hours a day in the coal mines or in an office being yelled at by a boss or doing physically demanding labor and potentially dying? Men account for roughly 95% or something like 95 to 99% of work-related deaths. Men and women have used our different strengths to build stable societies and raise children. We are different in nature, but equal in value. There's no need to put down either sex and say that one sex is better than the other. Men can't give birth to children, and raising children is very difficult. And now, here's the part where Pearl kicks me off.
I think what the lady is simply
bit.
doing is trying to bring up the facts, and I agree that we should actually be holding men and women equally accountable, because we should be saying that there are men who should take responsibility.
I think if men,
no, Pearl, let me
think
finish.
if no,
let me finish.
No,
I was
no,
speaking.
No,
we should
again,
be
it's not
holding
your,
men.
Okay, get out. Go. Bye.
Why?
I told you no. I told you a millionth time.
I haven't done anything wrong.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Why why do you want me to
all right.
leave?
I'm asking you to go. Thank you.
You don't like the fact that I'm challenging your viewpoints?
No, I don't really. People challenge my viewpoints all the time. I don't like that you're being rude.
I'm not being rude, Carl. Going out your way to put down women.
Okay.
Not done anything wrong.
Nice to meet you.
So that was that. I went on Pearl's show twice in 2023, and the second time round she kicked me off, probably because I kept on challenging her. Oh well, live and learn. I am an anti-feminist, but I am not a misogynist. I believe in gender equalism. Men and women are different. Historically, both sexes have faced many hardships and equally many privileges. It all balances out. And now, enjoy this song.
I'd like to dedicate this to the lovely Justpearlythings who kicked me off a show about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Enjoy. The smell me on the wall. 30 hours to live, how shall I spend it? I don't have to stay and die like cattle. I could change my name and ride out to Seattle, but I don't own a motorbike. Here's an option that I like. Spend these 13 hours getting freaky. I need it hard, I'm a dead girl walking. I'm in your yard, I'm a dead girl walking. Let's go, you know the drill. I'm hot, I'm pissed, and on the bell. Bow down to the will of a dead girl walking. Sorry, but I really had to wake you. See, I decided I must ride you till I break you. Pearl Davis says I've got to go. You're my last meal on death row. Shut your mouth and lose them tiny white tears. Yeah, get on all fours. Kiss this dead girl walking. Tonight I'm yours. Rock this dead girl walking. Let's go, you know the drill. I'm hot, I'm pissed, and on the bill. Bow down to the will of a dead girl walking. And you know, it's 'cause you're beautiful. You say you're numb inside, but I can't agree. So the world's unfair. Keep it locked out there. In here is beautiful. Let's make this beautiful. That works for me. Yeah, full steam ahead. Rock this dead girl walking. Let's break the bed. Love this dead girl walking. No sleep tonight for you. Better chug that Mountain Dew. Get your ass and give me this whole town disappear.